I'm Lionel Jinks, the creative director for the WWE 2K franchise.
Lionel, what new feature are you most excited about for this year's game?
What new feature am I most excited about? Man, we've added so much. I mean, I'm a graphics snob at heart. I used to be, former art director, so I hate to say it, like third-person cam in entrances and during gameplay, just because you get a totally different perspective of the game that you haven't seen before. My favorite thing to do during entrances is like whip that camera right behind somebody, get that perspective of like this might be what it feels like to live in that superstar's shoes and like embody their persona. I love it. Or just kind of whip it around and do like the cool drone cam effect that they're doing on Raw right now. That's really cool. But during matches, it adds a totally different element to gameplay. Being able to see the environment, or even like climbing up on a Hell in a Cell and looking down at what's going on in the ring, and you just get so many different perspectives of the game that it kind of opens it up to a broader audience.
How does your past experience as an art director help you as a creative director?
Oh man, having the freedom to just kind of call out things that you want to see, and just like things that, I would say like as a creative person at heart, I throw the wackiest and craziest ideas out there and seeing whether it hits or not, and the team kind of goes back to the drawing board and looks at some of the proposals I'm throwing their way. Some things stick, some things don't, due to time constraints, because we only have 9 months to really make this game after pre-production. So it's a challenge, but just, I think having a team that's willing to listen to like some of these crazy thoughts I have in my head, to me it's a blessing.
Out of the characters announced so far, who are some of your favorites?
That's a tough one. We have so many good looking characters in our game right now. I will say, if I were to look at Dom's mustache and his hair, that dude, I think it sets a new benchmark for hair in our game, and just the simulation plus that cool mustache he's got going. Dirty Dom, you can't beat it.
Dude, people don't understand how complicated hair is in a game. That's why we had so many bold Space Marines in Unreal for like a decade.
Yeah, no, it's one of those ones where you're like, in order to really change this thing, we'd have to adopt kind of like the spline or fur techniques that are very intense on graphics, and we just don't have the capacity to support two different pipelines for current gen and the older gen consoles. So one day when we're focused on the next gen hardware, I'm hoping we can make that jump. But what we're able to do with the current tech is impressive, considering that we're still supporting all of the other things that we've always supported in past games.
How does the new Bloodline Rules match work?
Oh man, Bloodline Rules, to me, it's one of the coolest things, because I feel like Bloodline, they like to cheat, right? And so you saw what happened at WrestleMania last year, WrestleMania 40, people just kept coming in. So we gamified that. And so everyone starts with you don't start with 3 paybacks. You have the ability to earn 3 paybacks and call out people during the match. So it's a free-for-all, no disqualification, but as a payback, you can call someone else into the ring to kind of assist you, help out. If you're good, you can call up to 3. Maybe it could turn on to a 4-on-1, or at the ultimate level, it's 4-on-4, free for all. And if you're part of the Bloodline Dynasty, we have a special victory scene where there's an Ulafala presentation. You can earn Ulafala. So yeah.
What went into designing the island?
Oh my God, the island. So like you said, as creative director, what are some of the things that as an art director that kind of helped me in this process. So I had to kind of use my art director brain to kind of come up with the vision for what I wanted the island to be. Been working with the WWE license, and what we could do with that in this space is really fun, right? We have some really cool over-the-top things that I can't wait for people to see, and it's a totally different experience that I'm excited for people to experience when we announce it and launch it next month. So yeah, hold on to your butts.
So you can't answer questions like, is the island fully explorable, and what events will we find on the island?
I can't wait for us to announce all the features for the island. I think people will be happy with what we've been able to do this year.
What's your favorite mode in Universe? What changes, upgrades has that mode received over the years?
I would say the two things I'm really excited that we added this year to Universe. Promos are back. I know it's been something that we took away after 2K20, but we added it, we gamified it, so I think it's back and better than it was in this last iteration. And the other thing is being able to add multiple PLEs on different days. So if you wanted WrestleMania to spawn on a Saturday and a Sunday, you can do that now to reflect what's happening in programming. So just having the ability to like customize the calendar a little bit more to reflect what's happening in the WWE.
What other changes and features are you excited about for this next edition?
My GM is online. Trying to think. My Rise, the story is really cool. Showcase is incredible. The roster that you're able to unlock and play with in that mode is, to me, is probably the best that we've had so far. And just WWE archives and the NXT backstage, the NXT parking lot, all of these additions that we've added this year really make this game sing. And again, I can't wait for people to get their hands on it and play it.
What are your picks to win the women's and men's Rumble matches this weekend? And this will go on after it happens, so pick wisely.
I'd like to see Bayley win. She's from the Bay, for the women's, and then for the men's. Oh man, that's a tough one. But considering it's his swan song, I'd love to see John Cena win just to kind of get that title shot and just kind of put a bow on his career. That'd be a cool WrestleMania for us to see him, challenge someone for a title.
If time, money, and likeness rights were not an issue, what's your dream WWE match?
I'd love for Kevin Hart to be in our game. I don't know if you remember when it was like when Adam Rose was in the WWE and like he came out and did a thing and he did this like little silly dance and then he also did like this commercial shoot for, I forget what it was, but he did this thing with like Mean Gene Okerlund where he cut a promo, and I'm like, he'd make a really cool wrestler because he kind of got into the character. I would love to see him as like a big boss character, but like a little boss character with like the craziest moveset, moving around like a like a kung fu master or something, and taking on The Rock. Like that to me, because I love their chemistry. I would love to see that. That's just me being, again, crazy, wonky creative director ideas. I love Kevin Hart's comedy skills, and again, I think him cutting a promo and wrestling would be amazing.
What do you think is the biggest misconception from an outsider looking at your job as a creative director? What's something some people might not understand about that title?
I think the biggest thing is that it's a collaborative experience, for me and my team. So it's like, again, like I'll have the craziest ideas, and then like someone will pull me back down to earth, and then we kind of collaborate and kind of work on these ideas and workshop these things until like either we cut it or we turn it into a feature that's possible, right? So I'm grateful for my team to be, being honest with me and be like, yeah, dude, that's a crazy idea, we can't do that. Or like, hey, we can't do that, but if we did this, would you be cool with that? It's kind of a spin on like, an idea I might have. So like, to me, it's, just because you might have that title doesn't mean you get to do what you want and you get your way all the time. It's about like, for me, it's throwing it out there and hopefully getting something similar to what you wanted and working with the team to try to make that a reality.
How did you become a creative director? Talk about that, like your journey as a game dev, because a lot of people, I think, just assume you just start as a creative director.
Oh, no. So I've been at Visual Concept for going on 23 years. I started off on NFL 2K, and then NBA 2K was art director on NBA 2K. And then when WWE came along, but while I was on NBA, I wasn't just an art director. I wasn't just an artist when I started. Like I was in the design meetings because I was a gamer. I'm a huge sports games fan, and so I had all these ideas. And so like I was invited to all the design meetings and started having like creative input on a ton of features. So it was just like the creative director role didn't really exist, but I was kind of acting in that role anyways. Like as far as like they allowed me to like create some cool features in the game, even when I was just an art director. And so WWE rolled around, our president, Greg Thomas, was just like, hey, like, would you like to be creative director on this? And I was like, heck yeah, let's do it. But I was wearing the hat of art director and creative director while we were with Ukes. And then when we took it over in 2K20, I stepped down from my art director responsibilities and just focused on creative direction.
What advice would you give to future game developers that maybe want to be a creative director one day at a big studio? Or would they start?
Just be brave about voicing your opinion, and just try to be good at problem solving. I think that's the thing. It's just like even when you're playing a game, think about ways to like there's something that you don't like, figure out what it is that you don't like about it and figure out how to make it better, right? And so, or why do you like something? Like try to pick those things apart. Like what about this game did they nail or did they mess up on, and figure out ways to either improve it or get down to like the secret sauce of what made that thing work, right? And so once you start thinking and breaking things down in that area, I feel like it kind of unlocks you, I would say like a superpower, but it unlocks like your ability to kind of like assess what makes things work and what makes things not work, and be confident in your opinions and try to like develop people's skills to like get people to like buy into what you're selling. As crazy as those ideas might be, but just be good at articulating what those ideas might be, and then hopefully your team latches on to something that, you know, could spawn something great.
Communication.
Communication is huge.
Can you kind of paint a picture about somebody who doesn't understand how stressful and how time sensitive an annual game takes to make nowadays?
It's very stressful to make a game with such a short dev timeline, but at the same time, working with something like the WWE IP, I prefer it because when we were working on 2K22, you know, that game was in development for over 2 years. Things were changing so drastically in the real world in WWE. People were moving in and out of the company. You know, people's personas were changing left and right, and you're like, oh my God, it was like we just, you know, modeled this character to look like this. We just shot this animation to be this way because the person was coming out during an entrance doing this. We wrote storylines for My Rise that had certain superstars that were no longer in the WWE. Same thing with Showcase. So it's like, as much as it was a gift to work on features or even the back end to support some of these crazy ideas, chasing what was happening in the real world was just, it was a nightmare. So it's stressful, but I wouldn't want it any other way because I don't think it's realistic for us to kind of work on a game longer than a year and still stay up to date.